Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. I'm kidding. I need you guys to understand that I've had many a different theory, and I've elaborated this before, but I want to re-elaborate again. My theories, what's going on in episode 8, I was pretty confident was going to be pushed off until episode 9. So I would like to kind of backtrack a little bit. I have this document, this document right here. I have not modified it since February 10th, 2026 at apparently 3:13 p.m. So I have not modified this thing since this date. I am not faking it. I'm not just randomly faking up these theories. This stuff I thought of while I was working on the Kinger and Jax talk. If you don't believe me, it can't be helped, but I need to make it clear that I have not modified this document since that day. So real quick, I want to run through what I had. I don't remember what was in this document. This is the Kinger or the button press talk. So this is notes for that, which I don't want to get into right now. So then this was an idea that I had. The gist of the idea was, oh, well, I think that the carnival adventure would only be like 5 minutes tops. And Kane would immediately pull them away from it for some reason. And my justification was, well, maybe they get into an argument and Kane's like, zip, stop talking. So I kind of justify it like, in order for him to make them stop talking about the button press and Kinger talking about Scratch and whatnot, he does this sort of thing. So that he pulls them away, and they start, like, Pomni's kind of like,
alright guys, we need to get to the bottom of this.
Which leads me to this part. Kinger interrogation. Which is basically, it immediately follows this scene. So they literally shove Kinger into the pillow fort.
Quick, to the pillow fort!
They literally shove Kinger into the pillow fort, and they all are, like, questioning Kinger about different parts of the circus. So, Pomni's like,
Kinger, what do you know about the circus?
And then he, like, starts talking about, he's not fully adapted to the dark yet, so he's just kind of rambling. And then, just when they think they get onto something, Kinger's like, I don't think I know anything about those things. I do know a lot about bugs, though.
Like bugs in the game?
Sure, like this one. And he just pulls out like a bug, like a literal bug. And then Zubul at this point would be ticked off. So Zubul just, like, leaves the tent, and then I was like, well, maybe Zubul and Pomni would kind of get into some kind of argument. Again, or whatever. Then I had a brief moment where Pomni and Jax kind of have a short talk. I didn't really know how much I wanted to get into that, because I didn't want just another Pomni and Jax argument. But it could happen. But then Pomni's, like, discouraged, goes to her room or something. I kind of wanted something to happen as an excuse for Pomni to possibly start abstracting, but I couldn't figure it out in the context of the way that things were going in this. Then I had this idea. Kinger and Kane talk. So let me get more center. I had the idea that Kane pulls Kinger away and, like, tries to talk to him and, like, understand different things. So I kind of liked the idea that it kind of ends on this note of, like, Kane pulling Kinger away from the circus members and, like, sends the circus members on an adventure that they don't want to go on, and then uses that chance to talk to Kinger and, like, you know, kind of maybe sort of have a sort of am situation. Kane is talking to his creator. Like, why did you give me sentience? Why don't they like me, Kinger? But I don't know. But I liked the idea that it was very, like, scary. These are just scraps. I don't really remember. Oh, these are scraps for the circus, the carnival button press. This is also a part of, yeah, see, they take Kinger to the pillow fort. Pomni blows out a candle that they had, so it's completely dark. And then is like,
Okay, Kinger, you're in the dark now. Please talk so I don't look crazy.
But at that point, Kane pulls Kinger away and is like, well, time for the next adventure, or whatever, like, time to go on, have some fun on the adventure. Oh, I apparently have 2 things of scraps. This was also, oh, this also looks like it's part of the pillow fort talk. I thought it would be funny to add, like, a sort of, like, Supal gets ticked off at Pomni because Pomni is like, you know, like, Pomni, are you hanging out with Jax that much to the point where you would do something so sinister and pull a prank like this? Are we for real? I thought that'd be kind of funny. This is also kind of like before they shove Kinger into the pillow fort. Oh, I have it somewhere. Hold on. Ragatha says, Kinger, you've been here longer than any of us. Surely you know something we don't about the game. The VR headset, Kane, abstraction, scratch. And the scene pans out of the pillow fort to show Bubble doing something weird and dumb. And Kinger says, I don't think I know anything about those things. I do know a lot about bugs, though.
Like, bugs in the game?
And it pans back to the fort. And I liked the idea that it kind of alludes to the Bubble Boy theory. I did have that in there. So if we get something like that, we keep getting Bubble Boy virus theories looking to be canon. I liked the idea that Kane kind of has Bubble keep an eye on them. So is, in a way, one of Kane's all-seeing eyes. And Kane goes away. Bubble gets right up on the gang and literally uses their tongue to stick an eye on one of them. Jax attempts to pop Bubble. And then I really thought this scene was funny. Where Jax tries to pop Bubble. Can't pop Bubble. Jax is like, didn't Kane pop you before? And Bubble's like,
Yeah, I've been bubble-proofed since then.
what does that even mean? I love this scene. I wish I could use it. It's so funny. I'm not sure quite what the context of this is. I don't know if this is still a part of this. I also had this scene, which reminds me of like the literal scenes that we saw in the trailer where Kane's like in his office. Now, obviously, I didn't picture this specific office. I pictured like one of the other offices he was in, but he's like frantically running around, just like rummaging through a bunch of different things, trying to figure out what adventure to send the cast on. So it just kind of is like a hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff. This also looks like, yeah, just different scraps. You have 10 minutes. I forgot about that. Another idea that I had was like the cast having to work together to get through a maze type of scenario, like a dungeon type of maze. It was not all on there. I don't know. But I had this idea.
Say your prayers to whatever deity you believe in. My bloodthirst has yet to be satiated.
As I was writing all of this stuff, I was like, this is stuff that would happen in episode 9. This is not stuff that would happen in episode 8. I just want it to be known that I had these ideas. So if they do end up kind of somehow being canon,
I called it.
But anyways, I would like to, like, assemble... I kind of already started assembling scenes that I thought would be, like... They're probably together, like these. These all look like scenes that would be together. These are all... And I kind of tried to order it in the way that I think they would be ordered. So this is glitching, and they're all looking up, so I think Kane is here and present. Pomni's mouth gets zipped up, so Kane is here and present. Pomni, I think, is looking up in this scene. How much can I zoom in? I think Pomni's looking up at the scene, so she might be looking up at Kane, so it might be, you know, this is where Kane starts getting introduced. These scenes, I don't quite know the order of. These all would probably be around the same time. This is probably somewhat the order of events, because Jax is laying down on these couches, but he's sitting up in like this scene. This would probably happen after, yeah, because Pomni is sitting here, but she's standing up here. Well, I don't know, because then Zubul is standing here, but Zubul's sitting there. So maybe Kane talks to them first, and then they sit on the couch or whatever. I don't know. Kane office stuff. Let's do it. Let's move these. I think Kane office stuff would happen throughout the episode. It would probably start like halfway. So like scenes like these two, we would immediately see, like halfway through the episode or something, we would see Kane like talking to Bubble and then like trying to figure things out. He's fidgeting with all the different stuff in his office and is trying to solve the puzzle. He's like, oh, well, this is a problem I need to solve. This is a problem. I like to think he would take it with like, humans are imperfect, and Kane as an AI doesn't understand how humans work, so he's trying to fix a problem he literally can't fix. He's like taking too logical of an approach. There's that. Then things start glitching out. I would like to think these scenes are samey. Then Bubble starts kind of infecting him. I wouldn't be surprised if we jumped back and forth from Kane being in his office to like scenes like this where he's like talking with the circus members. I think this stuff would happen later based off of their expressions. They are worried. They do not. Look at Zubul. They're all worried so bad. I think these scenes might be connected. I think in this scene, it's not in this specific shot, but I want to say there were bubbles in this scene. This is bad. I remember these scenes. This lighting looks familiar. I think these are connected. I know there aren't bubbles in this scene as far as I can tell, but I still think they're connected. Like, this is like the bubble takeover has begun a little bit. These scenes look like they have similar lighting. I'm not sure though. Man, I'm not sure. But these scenes seem like they could be connected, but there's no bubbles back here, so I don't know. I have to think about that one. This is Zubul running. Put them over here, because I'm not quite sure where that would... Oh, wait. They would go over here. Because... Now, the lighting with Zubul is purple. Like, the lighting on Zubul is purple. So, I don't know. I don't know. Kane looks like he could be mad with the way that his teeth are, like, kind of forming. These scenes are connected just based off of the lighting and Gingle and Zubul's positions. I think this would be post blackout. They're watching a Kane crash out happen. Not quite sure where Zubul would fit in there, but I think Zubul would fit in there. So these would go up here. These would go down here. I have no idea. These are scenes where I don't know. I don't know. You know? These scenes might be connected. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. These scenes look like they'd be connected. Just because of the curtain. That looks familiar to me. I have no idea about this. I still don't understand that. Make no sense. I do think at least these scenes are connected. I'm not sure about the Zubul. I'm not sure about these. I don't know. These do seem like scenes, at least these two, or this one, because Kane doesn't seem as, like, distressed. Oh, where am I? Oh my gosh. Kane doesn't seem as distressed in this scene. Like, he's just chilling. So I think this would be more towards the beginning. Considering that the cast in up here is, like, all just kind of hanging out, I don't think this would be somewhere in the middle of the episode. If I had to take a guess, this is the button talk. And then possibly talking about abstraction. If this is a actual legitimate, like, flashback, like, it's straight up just a flashback episode, they're going to be talking, I think this is where Kinger will talk about Scratch, and will unfortunately probably speedrun these two scenes. Because if I don't think it would be a really in-depth flashback if that's the case. Kinger talking about Scratch abstracting. It probably would actually be this scene. I don't even know if these would be connected, because these two scenes seem like they'd be connected. Because this seems like a reaction to being in the circus. Kinger is looking down at the floor, so this seems like it could possibly be a reaction to someone abstracting. I personally think if that was the case, it'd be Scratch. And it'd make a lot of sense because the circus members would ask Kinger about Scratch. So these are a flashback. This is a flashback. See, okay, this is the other... I don't understand how the flashback episode would work, because why would they just randomly start talking? Like, this is clearly, like, this looks like Ragatha. Like, these scenes seem connected. Like, Ragatha has just entered the circus. In the context of if this is an immediate follow-up to episode 7, why the frick are we bringing this up? And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Like, I don't understand. It just doesn't make sense. Like, it makes sense to bring up Scratch because Kinger literally mentioned Scratch and they were like, oh, Kinger knows something. So it would make sense for Kinger to bring up something like that, or for the conversation to bring up something like that. Just randomly bringing up Ragatha showing up first day of the circus doesn't make any freaking sense to me. I'm sorry. This would only make sense maybe if we're talking in the context of Kinger and, like, we're walking through a Kinger flashback. But then this POV... this Ragatha POV implies that these scenes are the same. But it just doesn't make sense for Ragatha. And then I would also like to add, so keep that in mind. It doesn't really make sense to bring up, like, Ragatha's first day at the circus. It almost even more so makes no sense if this isn't, like, if this is just a flashback episode. It makes less sense for Jax to bring up Ribbit. And maybe it's Ragatha bringing it up. Maybe it's Ragatha bringing it up. No, because this is a Jax POV. Okay, look. I do not think Jax is going to bring up Ribbit. He would have to be forced to bring up Ribbit. Hence why, it sucks because some scenes make sense to bring up, like Kinger bringing up Scratch, because I think the circus members would ask about Scratch and they would like want to get to the bottom of things. I don't understand the context of like other people, if it's a flashback episode, bringing up their first experiences in the circus. Bringing up Ribbit doesn't make sense in that context. Because, like, Jax is not going to talk about them. I'm sorry. He's not going to bring up Ribbit of his own volition. Nor does it even make any sense to bring up Ribbit in that context. It just... Why? Like... The only... I don't... It doesn't even make sense to bring up, like, Jax entering the circus. Like this. I did have the thought, I don't know if I ever said this, I did have the thought it would be interesting for Kane to bring up, like, real world stuff that's happened. Like, I don't know how much access Kane has to their memories, but it is implied that maybe possibly he can dabble with that a little bit. And I like to think of it as if they are made of code, Kane can access that code 100%. That's not like encrypted or anything. So he probably has access to their memories. So with that being said, I think it'd be really interesting for Kane to bring up stuff like this. Stuff that he knows is going to like remind them like, oh yeah, remember Jax? You don't like the real world. You want to stay here with me. Remember when you had fun? Remember when you had fun with Kaufmo and Ribbit? But you remember this? You don't want this. Like, that would make more sense to me. If Kane was like, oh yeah, we're gonna go back and we're gonna like relive through the good old times and we're gonna remember the bad times so you can stay with me. That's a very simplified version, but you get what I'm saying. Kane is going to bring up the good times in the circus and then the bad times outside of the circus in the real world. Which to me would make a lot more sense. Especially if Kane... Because like this... Now, I don't know, but I would like to think that Jax having... Because since he has a picture with this specific cup and they're all together and stuff, I'd like to think that this is probably a more positive memory for him. And Kane probably doesn't understand that, like, bringing up someone who is dead to someone who is still mourning their death is not a great strat. Like, that is, it's even worse. I've seen people, like, bring up, like, the NPC, like, they bring back characters, like, Kane brings back characters that are dead as in the form of an NPC. I'm not gonna think about that. I do like to think these scenes low-key might be connected. Cause, okay, listen. I'm gonna bunch it like this. I like to think that they ask Kinger, or want to ask Kinger about this, right? So they're going to ask Kinger about Scratch, him entering the circus, Kane creation, and what went wrong, etc., etc. Like, these all seem like they could be connected. And I believe this is Kane creation. I don't know what else it'd be. Nothing else makes sense. But I do believe that these have to do with Kane creation. And then this has to do with Kinger entering the circus with his wife, and then possibly Scratch, the first abstraction, which would make sense if they're asking Kinger about, like, the game and questions about the game, and, like, we learn about that lore. It does make sense for Kane to come in and shut them up and send them on the next adventure, maybe? Let's just go ahead and pair these up. So I actually think that this would happen next, then these, these sequence of events would happen next. Some of these scenes might happen next. Actually, okay, hold on. This is a lot. If I get to say I'm right, though, could you imagine? Could you imagine if I'm right? Oh, I'm not doing okay. Kane sends them on the next adventure. He's talking to Bubble and trying to figure out, like, the puzzle to solve. Hold on. This might happen next. Actually, hold on. This might be all the same thing. So hold on. Around this time is when they start talking. You know what? Could you imagine if Kinger did mention abstracted and that's when Jax was looking at his hand? Jax uses this hand to, like, reach out to Ribbit, but then he gets hurt or something. Kind of like when Pomni reached out to Ragatha and her hand started glitching. I headcanon that Jax had, like, a similar experience with Ribbit abstracting. Which I'm not going to get into right now, but... So these are all the same thing. Maybe these scenes are together. Because this seems like Kane having a crash out. And being like, oh my gosh, they hate me even more. I can't win. So maybe we get, like, memory type of stuff. And maybe this scene is connected with this? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know about these. I genuinely don't know about these. These probably happen around the same time. These kind of look like they'd have similar lighting. Go ahead. Just say that these are all together. I'm gonna go ahead and lump this into, like, memories because this definitely that has something to do with Jax, probably, maybe based off of data. I know it's like a meme to be like, haha, Jackson car. But, oh gosh, wait, I had a thought. Hold on. Okay, so... Kane sends them to the macroverse. Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how malicious Kane's gonna get with the memory thing. Because it would be insane if Kane started doing, like, oh yeah, remember how trashy the real world is? Okay. Sorry, I'm locked in. I'm in the zone. Hold on. Events of TADC EP8 according to MP way over analyzing the TADC EP8 trailer. That wasn't important, nor what I wanted to actually do, but let me try and talk through this. They talk. They have a conversation. Actually, hold on. I need to actually move more stuff. I'm sorry. Kinger gets taken away. Where is that? Oh, crap, because that changed a lot. That changed a lot. Where is that? Oh, mother. Where is him in shrimp posture? Go. Oh, man. It's gonna boil down to, okay. So this might actually be... Uh-oh. Okay, so they're gonna... Okay. These are connected for sure. Maybe. Not for sure, but maybe. Talk about button Scratch. This happens first. Them talking about the button, Scratch, and Kane creation. This would happen first. So all of this would be lumped together. Theoretically. It's all kind of... I think the first thing that we talk about is the button. So all of this is kind of merged together. Kane comes in and shoves them off to the next adventure. Well, sentence is probably a... But he'd do it, you know, in the way that I have it in my storyboards. Trip down memory lane. Adventure. So, he'd send them off. He might send each of them off as well. So that would be these. This would be connected. Then, remember how yucky that pesky old macroverse was? Ew, am I right? Kane would be saying that. So he sends... So maybe he sends them... Where did I put the macroverse? Maybe he sends them to the macroverse. Or like, you know, quote-unquote the macroverse. He kind of brings back the real world and is like, ew, remember how yucky? And maybe even brings up stuff like this. I don't know. Just because, I don't have enough context to work with, but this is just me spitballing. Wait, when does this all happen? I got too lost in the sauce. This honestly depends on if everyone is together or not. Based off of context. I don't know. Kane recognizes he is not making the cast members happy. So maybe this would happen right, kind of like in between all this stuff. And this could happen like, you know, during this stuff. I do think this stuff will happen later. Kane crash out. Would happen later. Possibly that would actually be more of the order. There is a part where the circus isn't fully dark, but it's starting to dim. Because these two scenes especially look like similar lighting, but it's like it's dimming. Crap, I'm noticing how they don't look as brightly lit either. Cause like, that looks too dark though. I don't know. I'm gonna leave it as is. Cause I could just be tripping. I don't know. This stuff would be happening later. Bubble takeover begins. I don't know. I don't have enough to work with. I need the whole episode right now. Glitch, you know what to do. See, the thing is, what's actually probably gonna happen is... This would happen later. Man. Dang it. Hold on. This possibly makes sense. Something like this would be the mimeline. So, in the beginning, they talk about the button press. They talk about, Jax, why the frick would you do that? They might talk about, like, Pomni. Long story short, this might go how I originally had it just not in the carnival adventure. Like, I picture it being pretty similar to my storyboard, except Jax is freaking done. And they are in the circus. They're not in the carnival. Kane interrupts them, likely. There might be mentions, there's going to be a brief talk about Scratch Abstraction and Kane Birth. Like, we get a lot of Kinger lore. But Kane's gonna interrupt and be like, time for the next adventure! And he sends them off, despite, I would imagine, them kind of pressing. Especially Pomni and Zubul, I think, would be the main ones to be like, Kane, no.
Kane, I do not want to go on another adventure. Stop.
But then he sends them on, the trip down memory lane adventure. Because I don't want it to just be another flashback episode. But some of these don't make sense in the context of, like if we get a Scratch flashback, it doesn't make sense unless Kane sends Kinger off to like talk to him, which I do think could happen, especially since this scene is a real scene that happens. He takes Kinger away. So there's hope. There's hope that a Kinger and Kane conversation would legitimately happen. I might have been cooking. But he sends them on cheery adventures, blah blah blah. Kane, as they're going on the adventures, realizes that he's not making the cast members happy. Bubbles starts taking over. This could happen like in between some of those scenes down there. So they're being sent on different stuff as the bubble takeover begins. Kane maybe sends them to that pesky old Macroverse to help them remember how wonderful the circus is. It's so wonderful. You don't want to go back to the Macroverse. And then Kane crashes out. So, actually, I could go ahead and just put some of these together, because I think these would... Yeah, something like that. I think that's what's gonna happen. Something along this timeline. Now, I do think other stuff could happen. I think a Pomni and Jax talk could happen. I think a Kinger and Kane talk could happen. I honestly, I don't know how true it is. It's gonna depend on how the episode goes. And based off of the data I have right now, I'm not confident in this theory, but I still think it's possible that Kane tries to abstract Pomni. I don't know. Because I genuinely didn't think we were gonna get a Kane crash out this soon. Like, a lot of this I didn't think was gonna happen in episode 8, especially considering episode 9 is quote-unquote long. So I have no idea. I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did happen, though, just because it could. I think it'd be interesting. But I wouldn't want to, with the way that events seem to be unfolding, I wouldn't want it to feel forced. And to be fair, a Pomni abstraction would only happen if she was manipulated into doing it. I think my girl has a stable enough headspace to where she's not just gonna abstract. Like, she's not doing great, but she's doing better. You know what I mean? Jax, however, I'm curious how everyone's going to be handling Jax, because look at him. He wasn't really faking it a lot in episode 7, but I feel like he's even more so just he's not okay. Anyways, this is my timeline. I don't know how accurate this is. I think it's a general timeline. I do think a lot of this stuff could be rearranged a bit. The only thing that I'm pretty certain is going to happen in the beginning is going to be this. Like, them being here. This seems like the thing that's gonna happen, like, right away. It's either that, or, like, whatever this scene is. Where Kane's just already sending in, like... he just immediately messes them up. I don't know. I do think Kane's just gonna rapid succession different, like, memories and different stuff. And if I had to take a guess, I think that well, I don't know, because based off of the information we have, that's not looking to be the case. But that wouldn't be fun if everyone just went on their own adventure and had their own trauma again. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if Pomni was here and got to meet Ribbit in a way? I want that. And then this also makes me question, like, what kind of memories are we going to get of Gangle and Zubul? And then how are they going to handle Pomni? Pomni was, like, not here. She doesn't have many memories of the circus. I don't know. But yeah, this is a general timeline I have. Oh, I did want to write down theories that I still think are possible. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I think one way or another, this could still happen. Things. Theories. Pomni and Ragatha talk about Ribbit. Carnival Adventure's not happening. Unfortunately. There's no shot. There's no shot Carnival Adventure happens. Pomni asks Ragatha about Ribbit. I think more that Ribbit flashback is all but confirmed. I'm just gonna say Ribbit flashback. Or, like, Ribbit is brought up. I don't think Kinger and Jack's talk's gonna happen. I don't think Carnival Adventure is gonna happen in this episode. Zubul confronts Cast about the button. Actually, Zubul brings up the button. Zubul confronts Jax and Pomni. Pomni about the button. They ask Kinger about Scratch. Kane musical number. Please. Please. I didn't know how much I wanted a Kane musical number. I'm so sad. I want Kane musical number. I don't think talent show is gonna happen. Pomni and Jax talk. Cast. Okay, do I agree with that theory? Guys, oh my gosh, could you imagine if... That's a theory for now. I'm allowed. Okay, well, I did kind of have this theory. Jax gets tortured mentally and or physically. Jack's ugly cry. Pomni and Jax talk. Jack's abstraction is brought up somehow to the cast or Pomni somehow. How that would happen, I don't know. I kind of had a thought that if Kane brings back NPCs or abstracted players as NPCs, they kind of like Ribbit would be the one to bring up Jack's abstraction. Cough. Come back. Come back. I want to actually hear Kaufmo dialogue, which is possible. Zip-a-da-bap. Zip-a-da-bap. Is a song, and I am going... I'm standing on that. I want that. I still think that could happen. I don't think they're going to be doing... Man, unless... Oh my gosh, could you imagine if these two scenes are a red herring? And they're not actually connected? If that was the case, man, I would... Oh... I am realizing my theories are still entirely possible if those two scenes aren't connected. Oh! I don't know. That could still freaking happen. I'm gonna be, I'm not gonna think about that right now. I still think Pomni near. Abstraction. Still think that could happen. Forced by Kane? Kane prevents cast from learning the truth about Kinger and the circus and Kane, etc. Oh, I do fully believe in bubble virus theory. I don't know how you couldn't. Bubble is a virus theory. I don't have to put theory, because these are all theories. This is a lot of theories. The void. The void mention. Okay, genuinely? Okay. Jack's panic attack. But cast and or Pomni sees it. Like, instead of him like just kind of being in his own world doing his own thing, he actually like has a panic attack in front of the cast, which would be interesting. Or somebody. And if I had to take a guess, that would happen around the Ribbit scene. Its U line is accusatory. Its U line is reference to Ribbit. Ooh. Well, no, it has to do with Jax, so it would probably have to do with Ribbit, if I remember right. I think these are all of the theories that I really have that I think are plausible. Based off of what we know and what is going on in the show. This is what I think will happen. If it happens quite this way, I don't know. If it doesn't happen quite this way, that's fine. I do think that I think this chain of events is more likely to happen, and I think a lot of these theories are possible, but it's not quite set in stone, a lot of them. Like the Pomni and Ragatha talk about Ribbit, it could happen. Like, there's still room for it to happen, but it kind of, honestly, it boils down to if these two scenes are related to each other or not, because one scene could be in Ragatha's room. And it just makes sense for, if Ribbit is brought up, it makes sense for Pomni to ask Ragatha about it. Because Jax isn't gonna bring up Ribbit. He's forced to. You know what I mean? Like this, if this is just, like, Kane messing with him, that is going to force Jax to talk about Ribbit. And then this, if this has to do with Jax, that's gonna force Jax to talk about his past. Yeah. This is looking to be like a, let's see how much lore we can cram into a single episode. I think it could be done, but I don't know. So yeah.